Vice President at Tata Communications and Tata Teleservices Limited, Senior Vice President and Zoom Developers. He's a business thought leader and a Make in India expert, and that's why he's here today, this evening with us. So he's an exceptional business leader and amongst the most prominent voices on building business ecosystems on the Make in India campaign and related schemes. He has over 25 years of experience on cutting edge experience on global destination creation, running large P&Ls, strategic expansions, including joint venture investment platforms, mergers, acquisitions, sales, marketing, projects, operations, so on and so forth. And I'm already tired. So this is a really, really never-ending and very amazing profile. We're really honored to have you, sir, today with us this evening. Before we start the session, I will request all the participants to post their questions on the chat box, and you will take it in the order it is actually posted on the chat box. I can facilitate in actually taking up the questions, or you could also directly post your questions to Mr. Sanjay directly. But we would like to have some sort of a sequence in the way the questions are asked. So over to Mr. Sanjay now to set the pace for today's session. Today's session is again Made in India or Make in India. Over to you, sir, to set the pace for today's session. Give your early thoughts and perception on the topic, and you will take questions going forward.
Thank you, Pratishtha, for that very kind and generous introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, thanks for each and every one of you who have joined in midst of your hectic schedule. Thanks to Muthu, the IITM STIC MedTech incubator for having me here. I am personally delighted to be here. And it's learning is a continuous process. So I think a lot of it, you heard a series of industries moving in. A lot of that has been in the learning. And therefore, in this series, while I try to answer a few things, what I would really like to also learn is some nuances of the fantastic work which you are doing. So to get back to you, as I think Pratishtha talked of, I'm sure all of you are discussing. Let me start by I am an eternal optimist. So I'll always start by saying every challenge is an opportunity. And the fact that so many of you have already been working in healthcare and health tech ecosystem, a lot of good things are happening. The challenge which COVID-19 has really thrown, it has really expanded the opportunity for health tech and healthcare. And if you really look at it, there are multiple layers of possibilities. That is where each one of you startups, irrespective of which part of the ecosystem you're working with, will really come up. So right from looking at something as simple as how to scale up the supplies of parts which were not being made. In fact, I've been writing on a series of thought leadership articles on Make in India. And in one of them, I'll be happy to share it later. In one of them, my opening sentence was, if time is equal to money, can 60 days be equal to 10,000 crores? And the context was that all of you know that the PP market, from virtually a very marginal producer to a net importer, we scaled it up to be world's second largest in terms of the PP producer, 10,000 crores market. And that's just a part of it. In addition, a tons of startups as well as the existing companies innovated virtually on the fly and came up with solutions, whether it is related to AI, whether it was related to data analytics. So many times for a country like India, because of the sheer size and the other restraints, the kind of data point which we have, our healthcare spend per capita is one of the lowest. In a pandemic like this actually, I related back to one of the parts where I've done from telecom, where India just leapfrog from landline to mobile, and that today 70% of the access is actually on mobile. So this is the challenge, where things like telemedicine, where things like actually remote healthcare, where things like managing a whole host of data and serving the complete larger population of India is a big opportunity. And the second thing, I'm sure all of you have heard that there is a huge push on Make in India or manufacturing. And that is the other big segment which I see, where it combines the innovation mindset of startup entrepreneurs like you, along with the manufacturing capabilities, and then scale it up once to do Make in India for India, and second, do Made in India but really make it for the world. And when we make it for the world, the opportunity which all of you really have is you are creating things from scratch. When you're creating things, looking at the opportunity but creating a product, solution, services, why don't all of you really look and right on day one it can be world class? And instead of replicating traditionally what some of the companies in the western or some of the other parts are doing, we rather pick up the best practices, and but we really set the benchmark. So that is how I see there's a huge uh, scale up. And the third big thing I see is the healthcare and health tech, the services and technologies becoming seamless, because now a lot of traditional services, whether it's a consulting or any of those other services, diagnostic, a lot of them will become seamless into a technology. So as I said, I wanted to start by being an optimist. This is the moment, and this is clearly the time for health tech to scale up. I just wanted to take this as a quick context, and very happy to be here. Would love to hear what are your thoughts. Would love to answer any questions which you have.
Thank you, sir. I think there's a question in the chat box by Deepak. Deepak, do you want to go ahead and mute and ask your question yourself?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Deepak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Deepak.
Hi, yeah. Hi, good afternoon. My question was that there's a lot of clever innovation and inventions that keep cropping up in India. One sees a lot of it in the newspaper, social media. You share all these interesting ideas that people are doing. But what is your thought on the reason of that? That very few products actually, maybe 2 out of 100 or 1 out of 100 actually reach the market, and even fewer products that are made, originally designed, invented, made in India reach the West. So is there something that is noticed that we are doing wrong or not doing enough of?
So I'll relate it. That's a great question. Let me relate it at two levels. One is if you see in the startup ecosystem as well, Deepak, that typically there are a lot of innovation and there are a lot of opportunities come up. The overall success rate, as they have to scale up from POC, initial anchor customers, to a larger scale, sometime it goes off. The second aspect is where within medtech or within any particular stream, and I think that is where the key opportunities which come up is how do we ensure that the business is scalable, the product is scalable, and how does that idea remaining true to the core is customized to the markets or the segments, and whether those markets and segments can be here in domestic or international. And I think that is where a lot of uh, potential pitfalls can be there, that you do it, it's a good product, but if you need to produce at scale, if you need to market it at scale, the demands will come in. So in fact that is where also the role of typical medtech incubators as well as the incubator accelerators come in. And the third thing which should be done is, how do we ensure that the existing companies which are already there, instead of startups seeing them as a competition, actually see it as a channel or a ecosystem partner and scale that up? If some of that is done, then the possibilities of success as well as scale comes up. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does quite a bit. The only thing that I would like to add and maybe get your reaction to it is there's a lot of design component that is missing, and especially when it comes to products that are coming out of the country. Because when we actually like go neck to neck with an international market and international products, there is a good level of engineering, development, and everything, and there is a lot of design that is there. And in Indian products, most of the places, design comes at a very late stage into the thing. And I'm more passionate about it because I'm an industrial designer myself. So that is something that we have felt, now being two decades in this thing, like the experience is that this element is missing, which doesn't let our products stand neck to neck against most international products. Some are, but most are not. So what
Sure,
do
yeah, I
you
understand that.
do
So I
you
think the design thinking,
yeah.
increasingly, I think in today's world, the design thinking is becoming integral. In fact, many of the problems which I'm sure a lot of startups who are here and as well as across the globe and India are trying to solve are really about whole brain thinking. So they are not just looking at only science, technology, logic part or only the creative part. So increasingly, some of the best in class solution are actually looking at a whole brain thinking. And if you have to have a whole brain thinking and you really need a scalable solution, then design thinking has to be available. Maybe there may be a startup idea that maybe Deepak, someone like you and some of you like-minded folks can actually take in a startup which helps all the other startups do design thinking right at the start. So definitely agree with you, but I think a lot of it
Mm,
is changing, and I'm sure
mm,
a lot
mm.
more
Yeah,
will change.
yeah.
Thank you for answering that. I
Thank
think
you.
it's a very
Thank you so much.
important element. Design thinking is very important in terms of innovation and industrialization. So, which actually brings me to the next question, which is my own question. So, looking at the diverse sectors that Mr. Sanjay has actually worked in, from urban infrastructure to technology, financial sector, everywhere, from working in Mahindra, Accenture, Tata Group. So can you please share some of the examples in terms of innovation that have led to industrialization in the Make in India part of the Make in India scheme from your own experience, sir?
Sure, absolutely. So, in fact, uh, let me give you a couple of examples of just right now, besides the others which have happened, that till recently when we were running these Mahindra World Cities, there are four of them. Two of the largest are Mahindra World Cities in Chennai and in Jaipur. The first set of innovation in the healthcare and the health tech was actually done by the SMEs and the MSMEs, where they were already making a set of medical consumables which was getting exported to Europe. As soon as they saw the opportunity, they immediately pivoted based on this challenge and opportunity. They leveraged on the ecosystem which we have, but they immediately pivoted this opportunity and actually started converting it into also providing a lot of essential, uh, simple health tech diagnostic services. And based on this, since they were already working with the Europe and many of the international markets, they could very easily, and they are uh, names, you can have a look. These are not some of the big stars, simple companies like Polymedicure, uh, and some of those who just actually, because of the sheer information they had in working in the healthcare, pivoted in under 60 days to come up with new services. And because they were running, they could not just offer it to the existing clients, they remotely signed up new clients and started supplying. And I'm giving this as in midst of a COVID lockdown, they actually signed up for a business expansion. So that is the kind of example. Another a very good health tech example I can give is that there were a couple of auto component engineering companies who were working, and were when they realized this, they changed some of their existing assembly lines to start actually making components for ventilator equipments. And the third example which comes, it is not just from Mahindra, from the larger Made in India. I'm sure you would have seen there were so many multiple companies which are there in the chemicals or the personal healthcare. They quickly pivoted to actually create a product which is, whether it were the sanitizers and other things. The fourth example I can give is textiles. So many folks actually converted from their textiles, and now you can get the most designer masks. So I just picked up three, four first set of examples of how people are immediately adapting on the fly in your adjacent space. So there are multiple other ways in which people work across industries.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to take a quick stop here and check if people have any questions. Any questions from the audience? Please post your questions. This is the time you can actually hear from the horse's mouth himself. Any questions related to Make in India or any other questions that you might have that are related to startups and MSMEs? Please feel free to post your questions and ask your questions. Right. While we wait, any questions? While we wait for the startups to type in or actually pitch in, I'm gonna rope in and ask another question, sir, related to. So, what are the couple of industries that have actually benefited from this particular campaign, the Make in India campaign? Any specific industries that have actually been very well supported through this campaign, have actually helped the economy and also the startups? Can you share your thoughts on this, sir?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the places where there's a lot of work which is happening already is in the electronic equipment manufacturing, and these are not, we are not talking about the tier one suppliers. While the tier one suppliers are there, but because of the scale which they are bringing in, there is a whole set of ecosystem of very simple suppliers who would in a classic way would have never got themselves integrated into the global supply chain. But now if you see, already in the last 3 years, India has become, in fact in the last 6 years, from a marginal producer is already actually now in the top three in producing the smartphone mobile manufacturer. And once you have it, now a lot of startups are actually working in the place to create critical components which are very small component, but because the supply chain has come in into India, they are integrating themselves and working very well. So recently you would have seen the, now that is getting expanded to the larger space which is known as ESDM, from just electronics, and there are three policies which have already been announced. The second thing, while all of you is working in the health tech, but if you see the healthcare itself, so many, this with a sudden focus on wellness, so many companies actually have come up with products as simple as how can you quickly scale up by providing very quick oximeters is one. Healthcare food products is one. The production of your people who were actually making typical traditional assembled goods have pivoted to start doing making a tons of fitness related equipments. So there are tons of things which is all happening here and now.
Thank you, sir. So we have a couple of questions in the chat box. First question is from Mr. Muthu Krishna. Do you want to go ahead and ask the question, Mr. Muthu?
Yes, sure. My question is that does the prevalence of indigenous intellectual properties an important thing for this made in India status, productivity status?
So, hi Muthu. So what is your question on intellectual properties and make in India?
Shall I quote an example?
Yes, please.
If we take this any computer systems, there are n number of companies that produce these computers. But when we get deeper into this, there will be a fraction of companies only producing these processors. Mainly this Intel, and at present we have this Ryzen core, minimum number of companies. So what I am trying to say is that whether can I assume that only these companies hold the right to make these processors, while other companies cannot try to make these processor components?
Sure, yeah. No, I understand that. So let me answer that. It's a great question. Let me answer it slightly differently. See, instead of trying to be another Intel or another Microsoft, there is so much latent demand which is there. So let me give you, based on my various interactions and some of the global places which I have been discussing. If you see today, and there are some of those product companies, some of the e-healthcare companies, whether you look at what some very simple, very good things is being done. There's a company called Caligo. It has actually, all it has done is it has applied traditional AI to start doing diagnostics related to retinotherapy, retaining to, you know, blood pressure. They are, in fact, in the lockdown from just March 1st to about May 31st or so, there were at least 5 crore people who have used telemedicine facility, and especially it has been and the important thing to note is 80% of that 5 crore has actually used telemedicine for the first time. The third important thing, more than 60% of that actually were users from tier 2, tier 3 town. So my larger point is that it takes time to create a unique or a very IP centric property, but there are enough opportunities because of the sheer size and scale which India offers, and also relatively where we are at a healthcare system, that the market is opened up beautifully and dynamically, which is where I started with. So there are huge opportunities, whether it is in remote telemedicine, whether it is actually how can we help. The one of the important things I always talk of is we really have to ensure that Bharat and India are closely integrated. So what it actually means is, if all of us, a good many of us, are actually from part of the India, but can we make solutions which makes healthcare and real time all the best in class services available to much wider audience? So therefore remote healthcare, affordable diagnostic. The possibilities are tremendous. Once we will learn from there and we will have that data, we can also create a unique IP opportunities. So that's how I see the space.
So
Thank you, sir. Hope that's answered Mr. Muthu's question. Next question is from Mr. Gyanakrishnan. Mr. Gyanakrishnan, is your network back? Would you like to go ahead and ask a question? Okay, let me ask the question on his behalf. What is the encouraging ecosystem government is providing for startups to sustain? As we know, there are a lot of startups in each state coming up with new healthcare products.
Sure. So there is already a tons of horizontal measures which are taken. So Startup India is one of the most prominent campaigns. So the Startup India is there, the Digital India is there. There were things or initiatives done by the government which in a normal course were scaling at a particular point, but now the trajectory were changed. There were a series of things like healthcare technology assessment centers, but they were doing business as usual thing. But now there's a lot of focus which would come into looking at it. The third thing which I see is lots of state government is focusing on the fact that how will they make affordable housing, affordable healthcare available to all. If they have to make it available, the only key pivot for disproportionate scale is health tech. So therefore, there are multiple initiatives already underway, and they will be done. And the fact that I'll give another example that whether the intention is there. See, even in midst of the pandemic, because we have to follow the rules and regulations, and especially for elder citizens, for people who need prescription drugs, you would have seen that Ministry of Healthcare and Family Welfare, even in midst of pandemic, actually issued clear telemedicine guidelines. In fact, for many of the senior citizens in my family, where I have arranged for that and ensured that we have got that prescription on telemedicine, and the shops are serving it. So it's like right here and now.
Thank you, sir. That's answered Mr. Krishnan's question. We have another question from Pranay. Pranay, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, Sanjay, and thank you very much for your time.
Hi, Pranay.
So my question's around innovation, and then as you mentioned, taking it to scale or disproportionate scale. Now there are startups which want to address pressing problems, particularly related to public health, and all of the innovations would have to be taken through pilots and evaluation and stuff like that. And the stumbling blocks here are to be able to take these innovations through established private-public partnership players in the country who actually can sort of help this innovation see the light of day. Now, the question around here is that facilitation or that seamless facilitation between innovators, corporates, and the government that would address problems. And you partly answered this question through your discussion earlier about incubators, accelerators, Startup India, Make in India, and all of that. So all of that good stuff is happening, but the time taken and to be able to field more than one such options into with kind of champions or corporates is what is the need of the day, and that is where I find being in the being a kind of a innovator or a startup. This is where I see challenges. I would want to be hearing your views on how you can clear the clutter and sort of help us see a little bit of clarity in this entire thing.
Sure. So as that's a great question, Pranay, and thanks for asking that. So as they say, every intelligent question has the answer hidden in itself. So your questions layers had the answers in themselves. That the fact that while a lot of work is being done, but there are certain challenges. That's why some of the startups are at this stage before they move to the next stage and really move to the hyper growth. And there are two or three key things which are being done. One is many of the companies are spending time to invest to how to really incubate and scale this up, because many of the companies also want to bring products faster time to the market. And if they have to do it, they know that it has to be, the startup is not competing with them, but at the same time the startup can help them launch it. So if some of these large companies are doing it, the second very important aspect which I see startup always, some of the startups have this concern that what is the right time before I take it to a very big giant who will just take our ideas and possibly take it away. I think the right way to do it is for a good startup to build value proposition is you must ensure that your product value proposition, your services value is really validated and is strengthened by the first few anchor clients. If you are able to create a disproportionate value and you are able to ensure the product already answers a good amount of FAQ and the gaps, then everyone will see the value. If it is good to have but can be potentially replicated, then some of those concerns come in. So if I step back and I really look at it, I would make it very simple that it has to be a right balance between two I's: innovation and implementation. Innovation is what is really how it's different, but the implementation to have your product market right, to have the value proposition right, to work with enough clients that it works, I think a combination of I and I will really make a difference.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks very much, Sanjay.
Thanks, Pranay.
Thank you, sir, for beautifully answering that question. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience? Okay, while we wait for people to type in, we have a couple questions flowing in. We have another question. Wow, that's a long, long question. We have a question from Gyanakrishnan. So do you want to go ahead and ask your question if your network is back? Otherwise, I can do it for you.
Sir, good evening, sir. What is the best time to pivot for COVID-19 based products, especially the mask and the sanitizer and the products which are being used in the COVID scenario? And now, since the vaccine is going to be around by January, so what is the best time to pivot on this?
So I think I go back to one of the famous saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years back. The second best time is now. So I don't think for any of those products anyone has missed the bus, because even as and when the vaccine comes in, this is fine. I hope for the sake of all of us and humanity it comes soon. But many of these are fundamental generational shifts and behavioral shifts which has happened, right? So whether you're carrying a mask, whether you're carrying a a personal sanitizer as you move in. Just with the vaccine coming, it will not move in. So there is more than enough time. So I don't think the time is lost. Now it is a time to look at differentiated things. So can we create a better quality of the same at a better value proposition? Can we create a niche? I'll just give a couple of very simple examples, even in two, three things which you talked of. You talked of mask. Earlier, everyone was just getting N95 mask, and then people realized they are not able to breathe. Then you had those external breathers. Then that is not good if you are in a crowded place. Now people have come up with a uh, ply mask, which is N95, but is more comfortable, of a material which can absorb that. So the people are innovating. Earlier, just because you didn't have it, you were buying the first N95 mask which is available. Now you have a choice. People are coming up with zany designs. Kids love to have it as a special mask with their favorite animation creature. You are coming up in different sizes. The same way, even so many companies, first, almost anyone and everyone from chemical space, from healthcare, from FMCG innovated. Now, if you see the FMCG and many of those other companies are coming up with a unique smell or scent. So the possibilities are still there. What you have to ensure when you are doing this innovation, that you are doing this innovation keeping in mind not just very tactical, but over a period of time, how will you pivot as the market need changes? So as I talked of, the textile folks, if people are not buying their traditional ready-made garments, thought of, but mass can be done, and they understand the textile base. So they quickly pivoted and created that. So same way, if you say, I will only be in this, it may just be limiting. But even in this, there are significant opportunities. Hope that
I,
answers.
I think that also gave a breather to a lot of other startups who are working in the COVID-related solutions because they had the sustainability question in their head. We have a very, very long question from Mr. Deepak again. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, and interestingly, it now touches upon the points that you've already discussed about with the previous question as well as Pranay's when you answered Pranay. But anyway, I'll ask this: is Make in India enough to generate the production ecosystem and employment and revenues, or do we need a bigger conviction? Because Make in India almost means that we are looking at products from outside to either copy in the mass appeal. I'm not saying a few like the key incubators and key innovation places, but the mass appeal is that we are looking for ideas to come from the West and then make it. Because I'm among those who feel that the infrastructure needs to be set up similar to Make in India, a top-down infrastructure for a bigger message, which is innovate in India, so that the message goes down in people's minds, and Make in India is a part of it. Because if this is done, there would be a bigger emphasis on the innovation at every level. Because right now, currently, like what you also mentioned about how these people are MSMEs are pivoting and creating more things. But currently, if one has an idea that is small, then there are many government schemes to pull them through. And if if the idea requires a say development time of say 10 months or a year, and a lot of development cost, then it becomes very difficult. And the issue with that is then how does one reach at that level of international competition without a wave of such products coming from India? Like even if 100 companies come out of India, it will not make a difference. Maybe 10,000 companies need to come out of India like that. And for that, we need a different kind of mindset. And that infrastructure right now doesn't exist. Is something that we have experienced as well. So,
Sure, I understand
so how
what
does
you're
one deal with
saying.
something like that? Yeah.
Sure, I understand what you're saying. So I'll answer it in two parts. One is, if you said whether it is the 10 companies or 100 companies, just like so many of the companies, whether you hear the best in class, whether the electronics companies, the social media companies, all of them have been a garage startup in their own ways. So when any of the startup is starting, even if they're just 10 startups or 100 startups, why shouldn't be each one of their ambition should be that finally I will actually have such a dominant market share that I will be bigger than that. I don't need that. You can always have a ecosystem, right? The second point I will make related to that is, before a whole host of startups and the companies start looking at selling to outside, the first and foremost, there is a significant opportunity to tap in the Indian market itself. And I gave you uh, some of the examples. Even with, let's pick up something very simple, even with equipments like Ready Monitor, whether it's a Fitbit or it is a Apple Watch, it's a Samsung smart watch. If you really see what is the percentage penetration of a simple proactive health monitor, I think it would, right now it will not be even in the single thing. If today people have to come even to a primary rural healthcare, most of the time people will not come saying, oh, I'll have to put an effort. If we are able to create a innovative solution and we take it, where these days, for example, the other big revolution which has happened is the 4G network, which will now become 5G, have become ubiquitous. So it's available in almost any parts of the town or any parts of the country. So we build technologies which leverages this to create it. So there is more than enough market still which has not even got created. It's not even a replacement market. So if there is a new greenfield opportunity, that greenfield opportunity itself is so big that we have to do a good job and catch up. Once you have that scale, it will give you two things. It will give you the revenue and it will also give you a better understanding. That will ensure that your product development is faster and then you go in. And just even you talked about the international collaboration. So like I'll just give a something which is happening right now. So Muthu and I are speaking to the Global TIE Charter Member Forums. We both of us are part of the healthcare special interest group to say, can there be a Silicon Valley to India connect, and can that be used for there? So I think in today's world with the digital coming in, there will definitely be an opportunity. But when we say make in India or made in India, one is to capture the new and the significant large market of India. And second is also, if your products are so good, which you can evolve here and are operating at a very effective fraction of cost, then there is no reason why each one of the startups can't be as big. I'm sure none of the startups who are in this call and as well as anywhere would have any ambitions on what is the limit of their scale they want. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you. We have a question from BVRS Innovation. I do not see his name, but it is related to Chinese innovation. So do you want to go ahead and ask? This is going to be an interesting question. Mr. BVRS Innovations, do you want to go ahead and ask your question, please? Okay. Looks like he's not able to unmute. So let me go ahead and ask it. So how to overcome the Chinese petty innovation which looks good, but in reality, but the lifetime durability is a big question. At the same time, we're used to it. A sudden replacement can happen through reverse engineering. What are your thoughts on this? Is his question.
Okay, so I'll answer it in a idealistic but in a very simple way. I will say, and this is true for all businesses, this is true for all individuals, that if we need to succeed, we need to work on how we improve ourselves rather than how good or how bad someone else is. So it does not matter whether the others design it at a fraction of the cost. If someone can design it at a fraction of cost, India has done so many things, which is the erstwhile English term, which is frugal innovation, which is translated means jugaad, is actually now a globally accepted word. And they are professors from the right from the Ivy League universities to Europe and other parts who have actually written books and chapters on how the jugaad or frugal innovation works. The important part here is for us to be better. Why just China? We have to be better with everyone. So if you really want to be better with it, the only way to do it is that your product market or your service offering has to be better. And when it's better, it means a better value for money. It means make it more easy for customers to access. It makes it addresses the maximum possibility of needs of customers today as well as the changing needs. So whether it's a modular or the way how it will adapt, if those key attributes are there in your product or startup, the scale will follow. And the other important aspect is today it may be China, tomorrow it may be other things. If you see, till 2 years back, while we are hearing a lot of things on China plus one, but a lot of that transition in the pre-COVID has happened actually to the ASEAN countries and not just here. Though if you see, the potential which we see is always very high, but I go back to say potential energy is not translated into enough kinetic energy because of many of these markets are offering some very good incentives and tax rates. But India has changed it. In fact, now if you compare, I will be happy to give a data point. If you look at the new corporate tax which has come up for manufacturing companies, India's tax rate is lower in the whole of ASEAN, and therefore one has to leverage it, and that's why even the international companies are coming into India to take that.
Thank you. Hope that answered Mr. BVRS Innovations question. We have one more question from Mr. Gyanakrishnan on skill sets required for the Make in India campaign. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question, Mr. Gyanakrishnan?
Yes, I would like to do that. What are the skill set for the entrepreneurs to develop for the Made in India? And apart from the electronics company, telemedicine, medical devices manufacturing, this is my first part of the question. Second part is how you advise the fresh engineers to develop skill set to be employable, because I find a lot of unemployment is around and they are finding it difficult to find the right job. So this is my question.
Sure, thanks Gyanan. So I think for the first part, the first 3-4 examples which I gave were just some examples. If you look at the top 6, one of the things I always believe in is we must identify the strengths, look at the create product and services with a design thinking, as one of our participants talk of, to use that as the core nucleus and really scale that up. And in fact, I've been writing in a lot of thought leadership things that while there are immense possibilities, I think the first point to start is 6 possible sectors. So the first and foremost is actually auto components, and the reason for that is that India already has significant scale. In fact, India is world's largest tractor manufacturer by volume, world's largest two-wheeler by manufacturing by volume, and as well as the three-wheelers. So therefore, it has the scale. It has, in fact, just yesterday, Maruti Suzuki Global MD has announced that they will actually help many of the Japanese companies to come in and here create that ecosystem. I talked about healthcare, health tech. The reason why I see it is India has certain competencies in an adjacent part of the thing. So we are already world's #1 manufacturing of the vaccine, and we are among the top 3 in manufacturing of the bulk drug. But if we add a layer of R&D and we add a layer of innovation, in that case, then we use that as a pivot to scale up in both healthcare and health tech. And that also means the other part of the thing, which is a intersection between second and the third segment, which is the medical devices. Because a lot of R&D is happening, but the device manufacturers are MNCs. If we are able to innovate, then we will be able to do it. And that's where it connects very well with the third part, which is I talked about the electronics or mobile as already a scale and actually going into the ESDM. The fourth possibility is besides that FMCG. So there is a lot of investment which is being done for agriculture. Many of you would have seen the agriculture reforms. So using that today, all the world's global MNCs are already present, and more than 60% of their production actually is all contract production. So whether it's a Hindustan Lever, Colgate Palmolive, Reckitt Benckiser, all of them are present, and most of their production is actually all contract manufacturing. If we combine it with the innovations which are happening in agriculture and agri-tech, then India can actually become easily a South Asia hub. So multiple opportunities. And one of the other things which is very true is India is already ahead of the curve in terms of the IT technology components, the innovation, the IT services. If all of this is combined, this is interrupting us. This is already going and making a significant shift. I gave you just some of the data points for telemedicine, that healthcare and health tech actually has now become a spectrum. So traditionally you are going for a diagnostic test, that was a healthcare, but you are using something, it was a health tech. But now if majority of the things for business as usual will be telemedicine, then that means earlier you thought that health tech will be a very small portion of that, but now the health tech will have a much larger portion of that. So these are the top 5-6 sectors we have to focus. And as I think Deepak and Pranay talked about it, similarly there are about first 6 countries which we need to focus on. First and foremost, of course, US, biggest market. Second, UK, Brexit is happening. UK, India, very strategic corridor. Third is European Union, because you break it into one, you can get in through. And then the right thing is you're looking west, but you should also look at east. So you must look at markets like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, where there's a strategic alignment. So in a nutshell, what I often say, and if you will search for this, you will find it under my name, is I put it very simply: 6 countries, 6 sectors, 1 mission, which is Make in India. Search for it on the Google, you'll get it.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful phrase. I think we'll definitely have a great impact in terms of takeaway from the session. I have one last question for on behalf of all the startups. So while a lot of startups are trying to be indigenous and trying to prototype and manufacture in the country, they also face some sort of cost viability issues and cost managing issues while they're trying to do mass manufacturing, while other countries provide better deals or better convictions in this aspect. So what would be your suggestions to such startups who are actually looking at different countries, but now they're shifting their focus to India for manufacturing?
My short answer will be that if everyone is looking for India, then this is an opportunity for all of you to grab the space. But I understand that there are some structural issues, and there is a greater degree of hand holding required. There are greater efficiencies of scale required. So many of the costs are going not necessarily in R&D, but overall how really to have the system set up. The opportunity which I see from this particular challenge is now the awareness level that there needs to be a greater investment in R&D or product development. There needs to be a greater incentive for producing quality goods. I gave you some example that say a lower tax rate. It ensures we are more efficient. Special packages for which are there for horizontal across for say MSMEs and others. They are available. The third thing which is developing is a set of strategic partnerships. So it need not only be a large MNC partnering with a startup, because sometimes that may be a partnership of unequals, but there are a lot of people who are already trying to move up the value chain. The startup can even actually partner with a B2B customer and actually get access to the channel and use that as a scale, and then from the incremental revenue and the profit you can go ahead and invest it. Because if you will remain small, it's natural that your capability to invest and to do something. And the last point I would make in this aspect is Muthu talked about it, that for example all of our this discussion, the reason why the IITM STIC incubator is going to put it up is you have to develop a network and an ecosystem. Once the larger network or ecosystem develops, it becomes a combination of collaboration and co-opetition. So you are collaborating on some place, you are competing on some places. When you have that, then I think everyone's focus is how do we increase the pie of opportunities rather than fighting what is my market share. As the pie grows, everyone grows, and as a result, you have scale and opportunities. So hope that answers some of this.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a very beautiful note. Also, like you said, you started on a very optimistic note, also ended on a very optimistic note. Thank you so much once again for taking time out and being with us this evening. It was lovely to hear your thoughts on different aspects of Make in India and Made in India. Again, thank you once again for being so patient and calm and answering all the questions. There were a lot of repetitive questions, a lot of complex questions, but you ensure that you handle them all very beautifully. Thank you once again, sir, for your time. We will be uploading this video on our YouTube channel. You can, people who missed this session can actually go log into the YouTube channel, subscribe us, and you can look at the YouTube channel. We also have a feedback form posted. This will help us improving our session. So kindly share your feedback on the session. Thank you once again, Mr. Sanjay, for your time this evening. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Pratishtha, Muthu, and IIT